finally. Finally, Wyatt. Sheesh, man.
Finally.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcusher here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. But myself and Wyatt are going to give you a little taste of the morning show on the evening for this week because work sucks, but we digress from that. Every morning on the morning show, we start with a little buck rant, and today's going to be no different whatsoever. So, Wyatt, as you know, the Kentucky Derby was Saturday, and
you better not talk trash about Rich Strike. I'll have none of this.
I am not talking trash. I'm talking about all this trash that people are like, oh, I bet the long shot. I won this. Bullshit. You are shut the fuck up. You did not bet on anybody on an 80-to-1 odds. You guys are so full of crap. My Facebook feed was blowing up. Oh, I won the long shot. This guy wasn't even the race 12 hours ago. Nobody has no idea who this ever was, right? And just you guys need to shut the hell. Like hell, Combs said he had a guy that won like $50. Oh, okay, I get it. You put down $1, cool, right? But for all those people that say, oh, I made bank, I made $100,000, prove it. Show me the paperwork, motherfuckers. But anyways, with that being said, and then you have all these people saying, oh, who is the person that comes up in white and they grab the horse at the end of the race, right? They're like the trailers, I like they're called
the trainers. Or
yeah,
something.
But people are calling for this trainer to get fired because he hit the Derby winner because he was freaking biting him. What do you guys want him to do? Do you want to be like, oh, it's okay, buddy. You can just bite my leg off. Nothing's going to happen. Shut the fuck up. You guys are so ignorant. Why this cancel culture has got me so pissed off. It's just like, cancel yourselves. Take this finger, stick it up your booty hole, and it'll be fantastic. Wyatt, it's time to start the show. Cue the intro, big guy.
Let's do it.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcusher here. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the blog section and check out the merchandise section as well. We got fresh new merch over there. And the Nana shirt is dropping this week. Today, actually, the Nana shirt dropped. So I'll be wearing mine this week. Wyatt's going to be blown away when he sees it because Nana's beautiful face is right there on Buck's chest. It's going to be beautiful when you see it. But speaking of the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Wyatt Williams at _Wyatt Williams on the old Twitter machine. Wyatt, what's going on, big guy?
Nothing much, man. Just had class earlier today and had a grocery run earlier and ate some mini corn dogs. And my dinner tonight was I had about 5 minutes after I got home from the grocery store to throw everything together. So my dinner tonight was the Publix sushi, which Publix sushi is underrated. It is very good. So we got Publix sushi, and then I had some mini corn dogs that I got. So I threw them in the old air fryer real quick for a couple minutes, and then that was dinner for tonight.
So is Publix like a gas station? Like, so you're eating gas station sushi?
No. Publix is like Southern, like JC, like a grocery store.
Okay, so you're still eating gas station sushi, what it comes down to, right?
No, it's not.
So,
they have like a sushi kitchen.
So I hear you had a crazy story this Saturday, this weekend. Hopefully it did not involve your gas station sushi. So what happened this weekend? Why?
Well,
what? Tell us the story, man.
Yeah, so in case if you didn't notice, I always wear a hat on man hour. I always wear a hat in class too and everything. And today I don't have a hat on. And the reason why is because I was playing baseball the other day with my friends. We all go out and play sports. Like tonight after the show, we're playing basketball. We play sports all the time. So we were playing, I guess it was softball the other day on Saturday. And so we had started and I had a grounder hit to me. And it was bouncing on the ground, and it bounced up, and I went to catch it with my glove, and it went above my glove and popped me in the mouth. So I was like, ow, like that hurt. So I picked it up and, threw it to first base and everything, and that was pretty much it for that. So then I was pitching again, and my buddy Pepper was doing some practice real quick, batting practice before we got started. So I was just, lofting him the ball, and all he's supposed to do is just crank it into outfield. Don't hit me, just crank it into outfield. So he hits it, and it takes one bounce off the ground and just slams directly into my shin.
Middle's open, baby.
Gosh, dang it. So I'm holding my leg. I'm like, that hurts so bad. So there's that. And I think it's over, right? So we've been playing softball for a little while now, and I have not had a single home run hit off me yet, since we had started. Okay. So I showed up Saturday and was talking all this trash to everybody, like, hey, I don't think anybody can even hit a home run off me. I don't think they can. So I think it was my second at bat. It was my buddy, Jackson, and he just cranked one. I mean, I put it right over the middle of the plate. It was an 0-2. I got him to an 0-2, and I'm like, oh, I can just put it right down the plate with some speed, and he's not, he's gonna whiff it or he's gonna ground out. I was sadly mistaken. He took the ball he hit it about 250 feet on the tiny softball field that we were playing. It was gonzo. So wow. So while all this is happening, he's running the bases and everything. Then he gets back into the dugout. He goes around to go get his home run ball. So he goes around the fence and he grabs it and he threw it from 200 feet away. A laser. And I walked directly into it and it hit me in the head. And my head right here, right here. Here it is. Swole up. I forgot which side it is. How about that? I'm looking at the camera here is reversed, but it hit my head right here, and my head immediately I put my hand on my head, and I felt the skin just lift, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now. And I opened my eyes because I had my eyes closed and I was holding my face, and I opened my eyes and my vision is blurry, and I'm like, dude, I just got a concussion. I was so mad. I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now. So then when I stand up, I start getting nauseous. I feel like I'm going to throw up. And I'm like, I really actually think I have a concussion. So I walk around the dugout and I walk over and Nikki's standing there and she's like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, just give me some water. She's like, don't just sit down. I'm like, no, just give me some water. So she gave me water and then I sat down and it just kept getting worse and worse. So I ended up having to go to the ER because of this. And so I don't know what the deal is, but they can't test for concussions where I went or, whatever they do for concussions. They weren't able to diagnose my concussion or whatever. So they did a neurological exam on me and I have no neurological damage. So that is good. But I just got absolutely annihilated in the head with a softball from 200 feet out. And there's no bounce. It was literally a rocket and it just straight to the dome piece. Pow. And all the guys are like, after they're like, well, I tried to warn you. Here's what I heard. I heard Wyatt, and then I had 0.0002 seconds later, I got just absolutely clapped in the side of the head by this softball. And everybody's like, oh, well, somebody's like, I tried to warn you. I'm like, no, you didn't. Nobody warned me. They just let it just hit me the dome piece. Nobody said anything. So had a pretty interesting Saturday.
Yeah, so Wyatt, you're supposed to catch those balls. But I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're here. So we got our man Drew in the chat. What's going on, Drew? He says, howdy, boys, and give us a Wyatt with the low, raspy voice. Wyatt. Freaking love Drew. And then Drew says they found something in there, like your old dome piece. They found they found your brain, huh? So No
Yeah,
abdominal
they
damage, so
found-
that's bonus.
Yeah. Oh, so anyway, so round it out with the hat thing. I literally can't wear a hat. My head right here is so, I know you can't really tell on camera, but my head right here in this area is so swollen
Yeah.
that I cannot wear a hat right now.
Ah,
Like, I literally
so
can't.
you're a typical Green Bay fan, so your head's swollen.
Yeah,
Oh.
pretty much. She said, oh, get this. She said the doctor said that the bruise is going to migrate down my face and go over my eye, and all the blood that was collected up here is going to collect under my eye. So I'm going to have this like sack under my eye for a week.
Well,
So-
you do have a
And it's
voice
already making
made
its way down. I feel like
radio.
it's right here.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
concussions are great. I had many in my life. I pooped myself a couple times when I got a concussion. So that's really exciting. So you have never really had a concussion until you pooped yourself. So I mean, I think
I
you're
didn't
good.
poop myself. Yeah.
All right, guys. So guys, we are giving you a little taste of the morning show here at night. Work schedules and all that stuff. So if you guys are enjoying what we're giving to you right here, be sure to check us out every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. over here on youtube.com/manhour. Starting next week, we'll be back on 7 a.m. hopefully. But we are going to talk a little AFC East draft grades tonight. We got way or no way, Wyatt. So we got 6 of those. And of course, we got some regular NFL talk, so buckle up, guys. We're going to have a great show for you tonight. Well, let's not get the hopes too high, Wyatt. Mediocre show at best, but let's get it. Let's get it started here. Pete Carroll, Wyatt, and the old Seattle Seahawks say that they are not interested in trading for a quarterback this year at all. So as you guys know, the Seahawks traded away Russ to the Broncos. In return, they got Drew Lock, and they also just signed Geno Smith to a extension on his deal. So Wyatt, is Pete Carroll and the Seahawks making a mistake by not even exploring Baker Mayfield, Jimmy G, and the other quarterbacks that are possibly going to get traded?
Absolutely. Especially with Baker Mayfield. I already thought that they made a mistake skipping on Malik Willis in the second round of the draft. And I don't know if they skipped on him in the third. I don't remember if they had a pick in the third that he was still there. But I do know that they skipped on him in the second and the first. But with him falling to the second, I don't really blame them for skipping on him in the first. But anyways, I was genuinely surprised that they didn't go with a quarterback on draft night. And then I was even more surprised when I saw this because, what are you going to do? You're going to just rely on Drew Lock? And Geno Smith did some good stuff last year. Maybe, Geno, or I guess what they could be doing is there's going to be some really good quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, I believe, will be in this one. Spencer Rattler will probably be in this one.
Oh,
so there will be
great pick.
And Caleb Williams will be in it too, I think. So there will be some decent options at quarterback, especially with Stroud and Bryce Young. There'll be some decent options coming into this upcoming year for the draft. So maybe they just want to tank. Maybe they just want, maybe they want Geno Smith or Drew Lock to go out there and just play like trash. I guess they got nothing to lose at this point. So, if they throw out, Geno Smith and he sucks, they can throw in Drew Lock. And if Drew Lock sucks, then we'll actually know that Drew Lock does suck and that he shouldn't be in the league anymore. Or Drew Lock sticks and makes a good career, So, it's kind of like a win-win here for Seattle. They're either going to get a high draft pick or the guy that they traded merely nothing for.
Right.
Obviously Russell Wilson was in that trade, but Drew Lock was just an asset in that trade. They weren't, the first round picks is really what they were going after. So they ended up with Drew Lock in that deal.
And Noah Fant.
Fant. So there are some good options in this offense. You've already got DK and is Lockett still there? I saw he was a free agent.
Yeah, he signed an extension, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So and then Will Dissly is good, and they've really built some pieces to the offensive line too. So he'll have a fighting shot.
Right.
The problem is he's in the NFC West, so that's automatically right there. That's 5 or 6 losses because the Seattle team,
right,
while they have some nice pieces, they don't have Russ anymore. They don't have the quarterback position locked down. So
overrated Russ, yeah. We don't have an overrated quarterback anymore.
Ridiculous.
Watch out. But
that's ridiculous.
But yeah, why? Pete Carroll is he is trying to give us all smoke and mirrors and basically give Geno Smith and this Lock kid like a fighting chance. Like, hey, you know what? We are giving you guys the kings of the castle. Shut up. Like, Pete Carroll, you are, 80 years old? Like, it is time to stop trying to play these child-ass games. You know that you would give anything for Jimmy G right now. You know that Baker Mayfield is going to get cut here in probably the next week or two because, let's just be honest, nobody is going to trade for Baker Mayfield because they know the Browns are going to cut him in a week or two anyways. So you can pick him up, and then bada bing, bada boom. They technically aren't trading for a quarterback, right? They're just picking a quarterback up off the free agent or the what's it called when somebody gets cut? Why? It's not a free agent, but
released,
like a waiver wire or whatever. I don't know, whatever. When Baker Mayfield gets cut in a couple weeks, the Seahawks will be picking him up, and then there's your starting quarterback right there. If they do not make a move on Baker Mayfield, they're being absolutely stupid, Wyatt. I mean, asinine, acetane, whatever you want to say it. Like, they are being dumb at this point because whether you want to tank or not, let's say they do tank. You are still not going to get a number one overall pick, even if you lose, or like only win 3 or 4 games, because you still have the Jets out there. You still have the Jaguars. You still have the Houston Texans. You still have the Lions that like, I'm going to pick to win 11 games. I'm going to win 2. It just like it is inedible that they're like they may not even get a top 10 pick. I mean, just because of their schedule, the way it falls. So Pete Carroll is definitely blowing smoke up our asses like at this point. So speaking of blowing smoke, free agent wide receiver Jarvis Landry and the Baltimore Ravens are expressing mutual interest in each other, Wyatt. So, obviously, the Ravens traded away Hollywood Brown to the Arizona Cardinals, and we sat here and we broke down their draft last week. They really didn't do a whole lot to help Lamar Jackson on the passing side of things. Is Jarvis Landry to Baltimore kind of a done deal? Does it make sense?
It makes sense. I don't necessarily know if it's a done deal, though. I think there's still a lot of teams in the hunt for him. Green Bay being one of them. I saw something the other day that was like it was Green Bay. It was it wasn't the Eagles. It was I don't know, but I know that Green Bay's still in the hunt for him. There's a couple of teams that are still in the hunt for him. So I don't know if it's quite a done deal yet, but I do think it would be a good fit. I really do. I think that for a team that already kind of needs more weapons thrown on there, especially since they just got rid of Hollywood Brown, you're going to need to add some more weapons. So, that would be a nice pairing. He's a great locker room guy. That's what everybody, consistently agrees around the league is that Jarvis Landry's a really good locker room guy. So, you get to add him to your locker room. You get a veteran who's going to be a good leader and a guy who can still perform at a high level. So, yeah, I mean, I think he'd be a good fit really anywhere.
Yeah, and he can block really well because that's exactly the only thing he will do in Baltimore is block downfield. So he is a big body receiver, and he can do things downfield. Too bad Lamar Jackson can only throw the ball 10 yards down the field accurately. So I mean, yes, on paper it makes sense, but in hindsight, for Jarvis, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would you go like to a team like Baltimore? And I mean, the only reason why I could see him wanting to go there is to play the Browns twice a year and stick it to him, right? I mean, that's why we see a lot of these players want to go to these interdivision teams is so they can stick it to their old team. So it's just like, it is dumb. And truth be told, that if he goes there, that is a career-ending move for him, 100%. We will never hear from him ever again. Yeah, I mean, what is?
Know, man. If Sammy Watkins made it out,
Sammy Watkins made it out because he only signed a 1-year deal, and bada bing, bada boom, he ended up in
That's true.
What he's with Chicago now, right? Or no, he's with the Packers. Yeah. So I mean, that's a great move for him, but what they're paying like $2 million to come play. I mean,
yeah, it's 4.4 something, 4.4.
Yeah, so probably league minimum at best. I mean, if you want to make league minimum, go to Baltimore, I guess, and you do you, kid, right? shit, like at the end of the day, like that's what it comes down to. So Alpha Rob says Landry will never be heard of again in Baltimore. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, like, quarterbacks go to Cleveland to like die. Receivers go to Baltimore to die. Like, that's kind of what that's kind of what it comes down to, right?
Right.
Sorry, why I'm kind of in like a troll mode because that
You
whole
are. You're
whole
cracking me up today, man.
that whole Kentucky Derby thing was just like
Hey, you want to know what's crazy? I'm really ready to piss you off when I say this. You ready for this?
Did you vote for the 80 to 1 odds from the guy that bought a $30,000 horse and
No.
paid $1,500 to get into the race? Yeah, okay.
No, I did not. No, but a local like horse, how do you say horse? Not horse collecting. A local farm in Indiana, in Borden.
Yeah.
The Knicks farm. They bought the mother to Rich Strike at an auction last year.
Oh yeah.
So just because Rich Strike raced in that race, the horse was already then the mom horse's next baby was already worth like $100,000 or something like that. But because it won, it's worth like multiple $1 million now.
Nice. It's even worth more
And
at
they
the
just
Elmer's
bought-
Glue Factory. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. But anyways, moving on. So the NFL has released their international schedule, right? So they are playing 5 games this season on non-US soil. The first game is in Germany, Seattle Seahawks versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That sounds like a real barn burner. Then you have the Mexico City game, which will probably get canceled because their turf field is complete trash, and they'll have Taylor Swift come play it, and they'll trample it, and like you can't play on it, or like when like the Rams and Chiefs were supposed to play there like 5 years ago, right? That's the 49ers and Cardinals game. That should be okay game, but then you had the Broncos and Jaguars in London. Okay. Then you had the Giants and Packers in London. Cool. And then you have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Saints. And we all know that Vikings only play good on Nickelodeon. So why is it just time for us just to stop this international crap? Just mean the only reason why I'm interested in these international games is because I get to wake up at 8:00 in the morning and I get to watch football literally for like 14 hours. But look at these games: Vikings versus Saints, complete trash bowl. Giants versus Packers, cool blowout because the Packers are going to literally steamroll over the Giants because the Giants are complete trash. Broncos overrated. Jaguars might get a tie this year. I mean, the only game that's really intriguing is the 49ers versus Arizona Cardinals, and that's in Mexico City. And that, I mean, you can say that's an international game. I mean, technically it is, but last time they tried to play in Mexico, they literally had a Taylor Swift concert before a week before the game, and that field got trashed. So it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. It happens again. Are you interested in any of these international games?
Well, I mean, I agree with what you said a minute ago. I'm excited to wake up at 9:00 and watch football. You know, because it'll be on from 9:00 until 11 that day. So we'll have 14 hours of football. So I mean, I can't complain about that. As for the not having overseas games, I don't know. I like that the league's kind of expanding out and that we're getting looks from other countries and stuff like that. But at the same time, I do agree with you. I think the games do need to be a little better, more entertaining. Because how are you gonna entertain a crowd overseas and make them think, oh, this football thing is really cool? If you show them a 40-0 game, nobody's gonna be like, wow, that was awesome.
Well, first of all, we all know 40-0 is not going to happen. Last year, it was the Jaguars and Jets. The score was 6-3. It's a freaking soccer score. I mean,
it was horrible.
It was so bad. Like, it was the worst game in the whole entire season. Now, I understand some of these top teams like the Cowboys, like the Packers are obviously losing like a home game here. But there are some franchises that don't want to lose that, home game, lose that revenue, yada, yada, yada. But right now we have a 17-game season. either way, you are going to be short one home game, either this year or the following year, right? Because you can only have 9 or 8. So if we want to expand the NFL globally and become a global dominant thing like soccer is, give us the Cowboys versus Eagles. Give us the Patriots versus the Bills, right? Give us something besides Broncos versus Jaguars.
What? So give us Patriots Bills so Mac Jones can throw the ball twice in a game?
Hey, you know what?
It ended up being a good game, though. It was a good game.
UK people literally watch people run around for 3 hours and score 1-0, right? I mean, what is the difference there? It's time cut in half.
I thought you were saying like UK, like University of Kentucky.
Oh, like, no, like London, the United Kingdom. Yeah, I mean, it's just so.
Oh, well, I mean, that's soccer though. That's their thing. You know?
Exactly.
Like, there's more action to that too.
I mean, yeah, there is a lot more action, but give us something besides Broncos versus freaking Jaguars, Seahawks versus Buccaneers. That could be intriguing. But let's just be honest, it's not. It's going to be 40-0, just like what you said, because Tom Brady is going to. What?
No, I would say maybe the reason why the games are so crappy is because the really good teams that are in it are giving up a home game. So they're like, okay, I'll give up a home game and go play in London if we play a crappy team. Maybe that's what the consensus agreement was.
Oh my. Are you serious right now? So you are saying that the Green Bay Packers are saying, hey, I'll play from away from Lambeau Field, literally bringing millions upon millions of dollars to that town every Sunday that they have a home game to go play in London just to play a crap team? Come on, Wyatt.
I'm saying that's the reason why they got them there was saying, hey, I'll only go if we play a crappy team. I'm saying reverse of what you're saying.
I highly doubt that they have any say of who they play whatsoever. Like I see what you're trying to say, but it is complete bullcrap. Like at the end of the day. I mean, if the NFL wants to truly expand globally, give us something. Cowboys, Eagles. How about this? Washington racist team X, right, versus the Cowboys, right? That would be the perfect thing, right there. Hey, let's
two. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, send our 2 most racist teams over there just to really give you guys like a taste of like what's happening.
Right. No, I mean just send like 2 NFC West games over there. Just send 49ers and Cardinals and send Rams and Cardinals over there.
Yeah.
Those are 2 great games. Or like let's see here. Or you could even do just any rivalry game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh right now. It looks like it's going to be a decent little rivalry brewing up in the next, years going forward. So yeah, I mean, I think you got to do something that's intriguing because it's just like it is kind of a snooze fest. But like I said, I can't really be that upset because, like I said, I get 14 hours of football on those Sundays. So it's like I want to be upset because the games are trash, but at the same time, like, what am I going to do? Complain because football's on more? Yeah,
I mean, I guess so. So Drew brings up a great point here. The Jaguars are undefeated overseas.
Oh,
so.
Packers are too. We've never lost over there, but we've also never played a game over there.
So I believe the Jaguars are 2-0 because like this is their 3rd year in a row playing over there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Why doesn't the teams that possibly could move over there?
Yeah. Why don't they just do it? Because obviously, Wyatt, you said Jacksonville is a complete trash hole. Nobody wants to go there whatsoever. They literally had to sign Tim Tebow just to sell jerseys, right? And then do you remember your boy Joey saying, "Oh, Tim Tebow's going to be the greatest tight end in the league," and he made it like 2 weeks after that? Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just complete.
But, he's just like you. He's a troll.
But I'm not trolling. I speak from the heart, Wyatt. I speak from the heart, man.
You speak from hate for people who bet $1 on an 80-1 horse.
No, I hate people that lie about it. That is like literally 150 people on my time like betted the world's greatest upset ever, right? Like they literally bet Appalachian State beat Michigan. Like, are you serious right now? Like,
right.
Whatever. Why? It's time for our first break, man. I gotta somebody call 911. I'm pulling a Combs. I'm having a heart attack. But anyway, guys, on the other side of the break, we got the infamous way or no way. Deebo Samuel started following the 49ers on IG again. Is this good for 49ers fans? We'll see. I don't know. But guys, coming up, way or no way, right after this. We were right back after this.
I watch Man Arrow while doing dishes.
In bed, hiding from the wife and kids.
What do you do when your husband and kid are obsessed with the Man Hour? You watch it with them.
Have you ever wanted to go to Vegas to see the NFL draft? Well, now you can. Simply head over to youtube.com/manhour, click on that join button, become a $5.99 member or higher, and you get free entry. Simple as that. So head over to youtube.com/manhour and hit that join button. You won't regret it.
You're watching Man Hour. Hit that like button, baby.
Man Hour Nation, it's your boy BC Beastie Brandon Combs coming to you with a special message. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. Now, that's 22 too many. And here at the Man Hour, we want to bring awareness to this. Our brothers and sisters deserve our support and our help. With the Take 22 merch, it's a small opportunity to show our appreciation and support to our veterans and take a small step to ending veteran suicide and treating PTSD properly. Every dollar spent on our Take 22 merch will be donated to the cause. So Man Hour Nation, rise up and show your support.
Yeah.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes with my man Wyatt Williams, and he have a special guest on him. Wyatt, show us your special guest, my man. Look at that
Ocean.
Cutest dog ever. Ocean. The Ocean Breeze.
The new puppy me and Nikki just got.
Yeah. That means you guys are officially married. Congratulations.
All right, go play.
So Wyatt, guys, got a beautiful dog there named Ocean. He lives by the ocean, and Drew says Jacksonville reeks of methane due to the moss and mold decom in the swamps. So wouldn't all of Florida reek of that? Like methane a little bit?
Sometimes swamps do stink really bad. I mean, like really, really bad.
I mean,
just kind of depends.
I mean, my swamp ass smells really, really bad, so I definitely understand where that's coming from. But Wyatt, it is time to get into the infamous game of way or no way. We pull these guys from the old Twitter machine, so if you ever want us to give us a way or no way, tweet at me at manhour_buck or slide into our DMs on the Facebook page, and we will get way or no way up there. So basically what we do is we read your statement and we determine if it's a way or no way. Why are you ready for this?
See.
I don't know Spanish.
Yes.
Taco.
How'd you know it was Spanish then?
Well, because it's not in German.
What?
Anyways, moving on. So, guys, the first way or no way comes us on the old Twitter machine at manhour_buck. They said Deebo Samuels has officially refollowed the San Francisco 49ers on IG. Does this mean that Deebo Samuels is over his little tyrant, stop being a baby, and he is staying in San Francisco?
I think way on this one, because it did seem like Deebo was going to get moved. It really seemed, especially like on draft night. But once I saw he didn't go through on day one, and then day two really was when I knew, like, okay, there's not really a shadow of a doubt that he's not going to, get traded or anything. I think that he's working it out with San Fran. I think they're piecing the puzzle together and trying to work through this. I think he likes San Francisco a lot. He wants to stay there, and I think San Francisco really likes having a versatile playmaker like him on their team. So they want him to stay there. So I think they're going to try and work this out.
Yeah, I have to go on the side of Way as well. Who's their general manager? John Lynch, right? Is their general manager? I can't.
I think so.
Yeah, the safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And John, like I respect John Lynch so much as a player and now even a GM, because he flat out said that we are not trading him, we are not moving him. He is our guy. And he seems like a very straight edge, very straightforward, no smoke and mirrors type of guy. So at first I was like, can you really leave him in the locker room? Because you know what we talked about this last week, right? Like if he drops a game winning pass, is it pointed to, hey, he doesn't want to be here, so he's sabotaging the team type of thing. And I think you are right. I think like he got his little tyrant over, right? He threw his little child fit, and now he's a professional athlete again. And now it is time to ball. It is time to make some money. And guys, let's just be honest. The San Francisco 49ers are still a really, really damn good team. They have been to two NFC Championship games the last 3 seasons. The only reason why they didn't go in 2020 was because they were COVID, so they had to play all their home games in Arizona or something like that, right? They literally had every starter on their team miss at least 2 games or more. So I mean,
yeah, they were so injury riddled that year. I remember that.
It was
it was a tough
everybody.
year for them.
Yeah, so I mean, the 49ers are still a damn good team. So the next way or no way, we're sticking in San Francisco at Candlelight Park. What is it, Levi Strauss Stadium now? Way or no way, Jimmy G gets traded. Wyatt?
I'll say no way, and I'll take it one further. He's the starter week 1.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. They spent a 3rd overall pick or 4th, I think it was 3rd overall pick on Trey Lance, and he's got a lot of upside, and he's got, he's a good quarterback, and the team is really excited about his future going forward. I get all that. That's great. That's awesome. Really good for you. But if a guy is winning you football games, if he's taking you to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl every year, you can't. Like, you literally cannot move him. They won't. So, I mean, I would be shocked if he was the backup this year. I mean, I would be really shocked. I don't think it's fair. I don't know how that would be fair. He's been incredible. He really has just played off the hook. I mean, the guy has kept them, where they need to be. They've in the last 3 years, other than the one injured year that they had where everybody and their brother on that team was injured. I mean, what was it? Both their defense had like over 100 different combinations of starters, like not over 100. I think it was like over 50, something like that. Different combinations of starters throughout the year because they were so injury riddled.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was
so
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the one year that they didn't at least make the NFC Championship, and they lost in the Super Bowl. And the only reason why they lost is because one of the, possible greatest quarterbacks of all time, who's an up and comer right now, Patrick Mahomes, just turned it on in the second half. I mean, they had a
28-3,
10-point lead or huh?
It was 28-3, wasn't it?
No. That was Falcons. That was Falcons and Patriots.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Titans game. It was 28-10 or something like that. Yeah, it was a 14-point game.
Yeah. 28-10, I believe. Yeah. And they brought it all the way back, and Kansas City ended up winning it. But I mean, if Kansas City doesn't have the incredible comeback that they had, then I don't think that they don't win that Super Bowl there. It just doesn't happen. So then he would be a Super Bowl champ. He sat behind Brady. He's a really good leader. He's got the QB confidence, going through him. I don't think he can, I just don't think you can move a guy like that.
Yeah. Oh, you took the words literally out of my mouth, right? Wyatt? You are exactly right. How can you legitimately put a $25 million quarterback on a bench, right? Jimmy G is scheduled to make $24.7 million this season, and you are going to bench him for a rookie, second year quarterback that has a rushing touchdown, and that's it in his career. And that was only because, hey, we need to get this guy in because we're feeling pressure, yada, yada, yada. Basically, what it comes down to, this is what I feel. I feel that Kyle Shanahan really wanted to draft Mac Jones in that draft, but he got pushed back from up top or Mike or maybe their offensive coordinator or something, and they drafted Trey Lance. Like, I feel Kyle Shanahan is not sold on Trey Lance. So this year, Jimmy G is going to start. He will start all 17 games if he doesn't get injured. And if I want to take it one step further, Wyatt, if Jimmy G does have a successful season, like again, they make it to the playoffs, second round, possibly third round, right? Trey Lance gets traded in the off season. Jimmy G will be their guy.
You think Trey Lance gets traded?
If Jimmy G leads them to the playoffs and they get at least one playoff win, yes. How can you not? That would be 4 years, 3 out of the last 4 years that they have a playoff win. Like,
no, I'm not saying you cut.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you cut ties with Jimmy G, but I'm just saying you keep Trey Lance on the bench for the time being. I mean, yeah. I don't see why you wouldn't, because they would have a starting caliber backup. Right. And he's a guy who already knows the system and everything. So let's say Jimmy G, who has had some injury problems in his career, that's really been the main reason why he hasn't stuck with a team. So let's say he does get injured. You've got Trey Lance right there ready to go. And he's, a number 2. And
that's a great point.
Let's say Jimmy G tears his ACL or something like that. God forbid. Let's say he does. And Trey Lance comes in and just absolutely balls. Then it's time. But I just think you stick him on the bench for the time being. I mean, you just got him last year. He's got 3 more years, and then you can get a 5th year option. So you've got at least 3 more years, possibly 4 years of him being a backup. I don't know why you don't just.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so you definitely changed my mind. So I'm going to recant what I said, and still, Jimmy G is the guy for the future, 100%. So moving on to the next one here. Let's stick in San Francisco because, that's where all the magic is happening up, like, apparently great old California. But George Kittle, Wyatt, way or no way, George Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL going into 2022.
Is this a 49ers way or no way?
No, just the first 3.
That's what you. So way or no way, George Kittle is the best tight end in the league. See, that's so tough because I feel like this could be the year where we kind of see so I think Travis Kelce is at a point in his career where he could go up or he could go down from here. So I think he could go up because Tyreek Hill left and he could be getting more shares and all that stuff. But at the same time, Travis Kelce's getting pretty old and he's starting to age. So I could see him going down. So this really kind of all depends on him. And there's Darren Waller and Mark Andrews. Gosh, that's tough. Goddard. Dallas Goedert is nice. I'll say no way for the time being until Travis Kelce proves to me that he's not the best tight end in the league. He'll be the best tight end in the league. Until he proves it to me that he's not, then I'll have George Kittle at 2. I would say it's Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Darren Waller, and a very close Mark Andrews behind that, and then down the list. But
So my thought is, Wyatt, has George Kittle played a full season in the last 3 or 4 seasons? Because I feel like he is always hurt.
He gets hurt a lot. I think he's played 2 full seasons in the last 3 or 4 years. I know last year he didn't play a full season.
Yep,
the year before that, though, I believe he played a full.
No, he didn't.
The year before that, he did not. The year before that, though, he did. Okay. The year they went to the Super Bowl, he played a full season.
So 1 out of 3 years.
Okay. So I think so. Yeah.
if you're giving me 50% effort, aka 50% of the games the last 3 years, like I'm obviously exaggerating the numbers here, how can you realistically be the best tight end in the league if you're not even playing all the games? I mean, the correct answer is Travis Kelce, 100%. My homerness can come out all you want. Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the league. I would even put him as a top 5 receiver, putting it up against, Adams and Hopkins, even though Hopkins is not even a top 10 receiver anymore. You can put him with Tyreek Hill, etc. In the last 5 seasons, Travis Kelce has more receptions than anybody in the league. Wyatt, anybody. Travis Kelce is a ball magnet. He catches the ball. He's a big play guy. No way George Kittle is the best tight end in the league. He's probably top 5 just because of default. Like, I feel like the tight end position, about the top 6, and it falls way down. So, yeah, I mean, top 5, but definitely not the best. Moving on to the next one here. Saquon Barkley has officially been cleared for all activities. He's looking 100% finally. So, way or no way, Wyatt, Saquon Barkley will be the best running back in 2022.
Oh, and he'll be the best? No way. I think Saquon is an incredible running back, and I think if he's healthy and 100% and plays really well, that he's a top 3 guy. But number 1, that's tough. That's tough to hit. That's a tough mark to hit because there's a lot of just incredible backs in the league. I mean, you got to think Derrick Henry. If he stays healthy, I just don't think there's anybody else in the league that runs the ball like him. There's just really not. So, you got him, you've got, Aaron Jones, you've got Christian McCaffrey, if he can stay healthy. And Christian McCaffrey is a guy who, if he's on the field, he's probably the best all around football player in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think.
Besides me.
If he's healthy and on the field. I don't think that's too much of a stretch. There's just a lot of really, Dalvin Cook is a great running back. So no, I'd say no way. It's going to be really tough to take that number 1 running back spot right now in the league. There's several guys who all have a shot at it.
Yeah, so this is the one thing that is good about Saquon Barkley in this aspect here is that all those running backs that like you named out there, they are all a 2-headed monster, just on the team. So to Zeke, there's Tony Pollard, right? To Chubb, there is Hunt. To Dalvin Cook, there's
Chubb's another one I forgot. Chubb is a
So, but on the flip side of that, when you have 2 guys versus 1, I mean, obviously they can take the workload off a little bit, but that means Saquon Barkley is going to get a lot more carries and a lot more opportunities. But the New York Giants suck. They are terrible. The offensive line's terrible. Danny Dimes is not living up to what he can be. So once he starts excelling and, getting 100 and 125 yards a game, bada bing, bada boom, you got 8 guys in the box again, and Danny Dimes can't complete a pass more than 15 yards downfield. So I'm going to go with no way on this. I do think that we are going to see a new rushing king this year, though, and that's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the Kansas City Chiefs. I think my boy is going to break out this year. Wyatt, what are you shaking your head for?
I'm a big Clyde Edwards-Helaire fan, but I don't know about breakout. I don't know about all that.
Okay.
I think just
Fantasy 101. Pick him up 6th round, you'll win your league. I'm just put it out there. If you want to win.
I don't doubt that. I mean, I wouldn't mind having him as a flex next year, or an RB2.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. If I get Clyde Edwards-Helaire as an RB2 or flex, I'll be satisfied with that.
There you go.
I'd be satisfied with that.
Yeah. I mean, you should be, because he's going to be the best running back in the league. Anyways, moving on. Speaking of best players in the league, we come up to the quarterback position here, Wyatt. Your boy, Devontae Adams, went home to Las Vegas. Derek Carr is a quarterback in Las Vegas. Way or no way, Derek Carr will have the best stats in the NFL in 2022.
Best quarterback stats in 2022. That's, gosh. I feel like Derek could have that. I feel like I don't want to say yes, but I feel like that Derek has the weapons and he is the quarterback to be able to do that. So I feel like he could, I mean, Phillip Rivers had, the best numbers in the league at the quarterback position for a while, and he wasn't the best quarterback in the league.
Right.
So I'll say yes way. I think he's got the options to where he has a shot at doing that this year. I could see Derek Carr passing for a lot of yards. I mean, like last year, he started out what was it? His first 4 weeks of football, he was on pace for 8,000 passing yards, wasn't it? Like something ridiculous, something that he should never even get close to.
And then John Gruden got fired. Yeah.
And then the Henry Ruggs incident, and then they had like 2 more guys get arrested for armed robbery, and then the list just went on last year for them. So I have so much respect for Derek Carr as not just as a quarterback, not just as a football player, but as a leader in general. The way he was able to command his squad through last year with everything that went on around the team, with everything that went on around, just the players, the coaching situation, like everything, the odds were completely stacked against Derek Carr last year in every way, shape, form, or fashion. And every time that he would take 1 step forward, he'd have to take 2 steps back. But he continued to take more steps forward than he did back, and he got his team to the playoffs. I was very impressed with him last year, and I think Derek Carr, with the correct options and with the correct offense and the right coach, he could be a top 5 quarterback. Could be. Yes. I don't think he is, but I think he's got the potential to be a really, really good quarterback in the NFL.
So last year, stats-wise, as just pure, stats on paper, Derek Carr was the number 6 ranked quarterback in the NFL last season, behind Tom Brady, behind Aaron Rodgers. Justin Herbert was was up there. Joe Burrow was 5, I think, and I can't remember who was 6. Like I think it was Derek Carr was right at 6. So it definitely isn't a stretch to go from 6th place to 1st place, because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have an off season. I think Tom Brady is going to have an off season, but Justin Herbert, he is the real deal. I mean, and I love everything about Justin Herbert. He is getting better and better and better. He's going into his 3rd year. They added, pieces around him. So I'm going to go with no way that Derek Carr will have the best stats in the NFL, but he is definitely going to be in the MVP conversation, because I anticipate the Raiders are going to do something well. They have a very good opportunity of winning the West if the Chargers shit the bed a little bit. So, I mean, that is an MVP caliber quarterback in my head. What are you laughing about?
Nothing. I love the way you explain things. It makes me laugh.
Okay. Well, speaking of making you laugh here, Adrian Hutchinson has signed his deal, $35.7 million with the Detroit Lions. Wyatt, way or no way, Hutchinson will be the Rookie of the Year.
This is tough. Defensive Rookie of the Year? I don't know. This draft has a lot of candidates who could. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau could get it. Stingley could get it. Kyle Hamilton could get it. Hutchinson could get it. On the offensive side, there's a lot of guys that could get it. It's just, oh my gosh, this is tough. I really like Aiden Hutchinson, but I will say, I don't know if he gets Rookie of the Year. I think he's gonna have a great career, and I think he's gonna be a special football player from like here going forward. But actually, I take that back. You know what? I'm gonna stick with this answer. I just thought about it, and the last several years we've seen a recent trend in defensive ends having just great rookie years. Both of the Bosa brothers, Chase Young. I mean, there's been a plethora of defensive ends come through and just wreck the place, and then end up getting defensive rookie of the year. So you know what? I will stick to it. I'll say Hutchinson wins it. I'll say it.
Yeah,
he's getting paid the money for it. Did you see his rookie deal he signed?
Yeah, $35.7 million with $26 million guaranteed signing bonus. But yeah, I mean it's definitely a lot of money. I think the Detroit Lions nailed this draft just like what we broke down last Tuesday. I believe it was. And yeah, I mean the problem is everything exactly what you said. There are so many eyes on the defensive side of the ball, like you really can't go wrong. And I'm gonna have to go with Way as well. Like I was able to watch some of Adrian Hutchinson's games live last season when, you know, big old Ohio State was there, and I was hoping to catch Zen on there, and, you know, our kicker, you know, Cole, right? But yeah, I mean, he is a freaking beast, man. Like, there is so much hype around him, and it would not surprise me if he wins Defensive Rookie of the Year, Rookie of the Year, in league MVP. Like, he is just he's that dominant of a player. I mean, he's going to do great things.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that takes us up to our next break. Let's find some good music here. Wyatt, what are you in the mood for? Sunny Travel sounds good. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Ooh. Traveling through the sun, Wyatt. What? So let's go ahead and jump into the chat here. I have Ladeka to chat here for the last half hour. My bad. Alpha Rob says Knox had the most touchdowns as a tight end last season. Yeah, we forgot about Knox, the Buffalo Bills tight end. I mean, so there are probably 7 really good tight ends in the league right now. Drew says there's no way they're cutting Trey Lance. I didn't say cut, but I meant trade. But yeah, I mean, I did recant what I said, so you are right, Drew. There's no way he's doing it. Hawkinson is a top tight end as well if he doesn't break his neck trying to jump it over Honey Badger. And then Drew says no way about the Derek Carr thing. He could, but the weapons will fail him. So he's saying Devontae Adams will fail him this year.
I don't know about all that. They've already got that chemistry, man. And if Devontae Adams got chemistry with the quarterback, he does dangerous things.
He's also 30 years old, isn't he?
29.
Why? You aren't quite there yet, but I turned 35 this year, which is puke coming out of my mouth. It hurts to get out of bed at 35 years old. And I'm not a professional athlete. Like, it hurts getting out of bed. Like, if I don't get my pillow just right, Wyatt, my neck is like killing me for the next 16 hours. And I'm like, all trying to like, oh, I can't do nothing. Help me. And it's just, I'm like, why? Like, what happened with my life? But anyways, it's time for that break, Wyatt. On the other side of the break, guys, we're going to break down the AFC East, starting with the Patriots and the Dolphins, and then Jets, and then we're following up with the former AFC East champs, I should say, the Buffalo Bills. All that and much more. Actually, not much more. All that coming up right after the break. I'll be right back. Alrighty, dude.
What's going on, Belly Up Sports fans? Thanks for tuning in to the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. We have some really exciting news for several Belly Up Podcast Network shows. The Sports Stove Podcast, the Rough Cut Sportscast, and Here in Puckburg have all been nominated for a Sports Podcast Award. So, head on over to sportcastawards.com and make sure to vote for the Sports Stove Podcast for Best College Sports Podcast and Best News and Current Affairs Podcast. Vote for the Rough Cut Sportscast for Best American Football Podcast, and vote for Here in Puckburg for Podcast. Again, that website is sportspodcast.com. Thanks for being the best part of Belly Up Sports. We are what they are.
I've got an itch I can't scratch. Completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody down, welcome to the freak show, the best thing. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly. Thoughts jumbled around, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win. I'll take a stab, I wanna chase the bag. I want a way I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. No way now, I'll give up everything. The venom in my brain, run
running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this, I just wanna break these chains. Always asking for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many ones that are so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started the outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail. I'll give up everything, daunting. If I can see my dream.
Man-Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with the man, the myth, the legend, the Wyatt Williams at _Wyatt Williams on the old Twitter machine. Of course, you can follow me at manhour_Buck on Twitter. Guys, follow us. We have fun over there. At least I do. I have fun trolling. Hey, Wyatt, I got a question for you. You are a NBA guy. You do a podcast with a Division I athlete in Trey.
Yes,
have you been watching the NBA playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
So the Philadelphia 76ers have a snake on their court. What is the snake all about?
It has to do with like what is it? It's like the history of the U.S. What's the old snake thing that's on? You know what I'm talking about? It's like something to do with the Revolutionary War, chopped up snake. It's something to do with Philadelphia. Let me look this up.
Let's
see.
Every time I think of snakes, I think of like evil people like sliding through the grass, like trying to bite you, because anything that can move like 20 miles an hour like without legs or feet freak me the F out. Like, I don't even want to lie. I hate snakes, man.
It's from the Revolutionary War. Let's see here. It was called, it's a symbol of their desire to unify in opposition to unfair taxation. So it's in like unfair tax for unfair taxation.
How does a snake
like
unify people?
I have no clue. I have no clue. They loved back in the day, man. They loved putting snakes on flags, man. The don't tread on me. That one.
Yeah.
They loved that stuff. So
I don't know.
I mean, hey,
cool.
It's a cool looking flag, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's a but like I was watching the game, like, why the hell does 76ers have like an anaconda on their floor? I'm like, this is dumber than crap. But yeah. but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I knew it had something to do with like Philadelphia and their history of like just, you know, the US and stuff like that.
Yeah, the history of rigging elections to letting Joe Biden win and jacking up our gas prices and let Russia invade Ukraine. Is that the history that we're talking about? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But anyway, guys, welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the blog section. We got about 5 or 7 writers over there right now covering about 20% of the NFL. So if you guys are interested in writing about your particular team of the NFL, let me know. This is a paid position. You know, I pay in Mountain Dew and Monsters, so it's a great time. But check out the website. Our man Mitch dropped a great article about the New England Patriots, about their draft grade and Cole Strange. Speaking of Cole Strange, Wyatt, it is time to talk about the AFC West and those New England Patriots. Obviously, they drafted Cole Strange and a plethora of other players. What are your thoughts on the New England Patriots draft?
Well, overall, the AFC West I thought was really kind of almost high and low. Let me get to my notes here for the Patriots. I really kind of thought it was high and low, and I think this was definitely one of the lows. Cole Strange was a strange pick, that's for sure. But what I will say, the only thing I will say for Patriots fans is Bill Belichick always does weird things. I've got a friend, his name is Ryan Coolidge. He's from Maine. and he was over here for the draft, and we were all talking, and he was like, man, I hope we do something cool with our first rounder. And I'm like, Ryan, you guys are totally going to trade down. You guys used all of your crazy first round points last year. Bill Belichick spent every piece of first round, drafting he's ever used in his entire life. He spent it all last year. You're not getting anything cool in this first round. I was like, you guys are going to end up trading out of the first round and getting nothing, or you're going to trade down to a later pick in the first round and get somebody that everybody's going to be like, what? And he's like, yeah, probably. And come to find out of old UT Chattanooga, Cole Strange. So, with that being said, Bill Belichick always does weird stuff like this. He always does stuff where everybody shakes their head and, scratches at it. But you know what? The guy has won 6 Super Bowls. Let me repeat that. 6 Super Bowls. I get it. He had Tom Brady. That's great. Tom Brady had Bill. They both, I hate the argument of who was better. They needed each other. They wouldn't have done what they did without each other. They were both 50% of the pie on that one. So he's got 6 Super Bowls. He knows what he's doing. Would I have taken Cole Strange there? No, I probably would not have, and I don't think that was that great of a pick. It was a head scratcher like normal, but like I said, it's a Bill Belichick pick. That's exactly what that is. That's a Patriots draft pick. That's what they do every year. This is just another stepping stone to what they're looking to move forward with. So, Cole Strange goes off the board, and he becomes the first ever Chattanooga player to go in the first round. That was at least pretty cool. What I thought was funny, though, most teams that were scouting Cole Strange in a press release the next day. Sean McVay, I forgot his name for a second. Sean McVay was talking, and he was like, Cole Strange off the board, huh? He was like, I know we were looking at him at like 104. So there were a lot of teams that were looking at him in the, day 3 time, maybe late day 2. So as for that, it was like I said, it was a little bit of a head scratcher, but it's a Bill Belichick pick. Next, we look on to the second round. This is really one of 3 picks that they made that I liked. Tyquan Thornton, a speedster. I mean, the guy ran a unofficial 4.2 something, 4.21, I think, at the combine this year. It ended up not being the record. They brought it back, and he ran it was a 4.28. Just under 4.3. So still lightning fast. I mean, still moving. So Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor, that's an absolute speedster, and I think Mac Jones is really going to love throwing the ball to him. I think there's a lot of potential with Tyquan. I really thought that there were a lot of teams that could take him in the second round that could really turn out to be a good fit for him, and I think this is one of those teams. So with that being said, I like the second round pick. Marcus Jones in the third round, not a bad pick, solid corner there. You go with another corner in the fourth at 121 with Jack Jones. Pierre Strong, I like Pierre Strong, running back out of South Dakota State, add some versatility to the offense. Now, the big one that I did like that a lot of people kind of shook their head at too was Bailey Zapp, quarterback out of Western Kentucky. Bailey Zapp go watch the tape. I don't even need to tell you. Go to YouTube right now, look up after the show, just get on your little YouTube search bar and just look up Bailey Zapp Western Kentucky highlights, and it'll all make sense. Every bit of this whole situation will make sense. Bailey Zapp is a baller. He's a guy who is just a great leader. He's great passing the ball. He can run the ball. He's great in the play action. I mean, he surveys the pocket really well. So, I mean, all around, Bailey Zapp was very impressive to me. And I thought he was a guy who was in the fourth round that could end up having a job fall to him like Dak Prescott did and end up, being a starter somewhere. I doubt that happens in New England because Mac Jones played so well last year. And on top of that, they picked him with the first round. I mean, you're not going to replace a first-round quarterback with a fourth rounder unless if Mac Jones really does that bad this year, which I don't think that happens. So now going down here, Kevin Harris out of South Carolina. I liked the first running back pick in the fourth. I was a fan of that. I liked it. Pierre Strong is a good running back. Kevin Harris is a good running back out of South Carolina. But I was just more confused. I mean, you've already got running backs. I mean, you don't really need to stack up on this. So I just kind of thought that they didn't really need the running back depth there at that time, and there was somewhere else they could have gone with that. But once again, it is a 6th round pick, so you're really just trying to fill depth at somewhere that, you could possibly give somebody a couple of snaps for. So Same with the whole rest of the way down. Roberts, a decent pick. I liked it. Hines added to the offensive line, and Stuber added to the offensive line as well. And actually, Andrew Stuber is a nice offensive tackle out of Michigan, and that was a good offensive line and been a good offensive line for a little bit. So I will say that was a nice pick out for them out of the 7th round. This is one of those drafts where I feel like we can't grade it now. Obviously I'm going to give you my grade. I'm going to give you my best pick, but this is not a grade now. This is a draft to where 5 years from now, we're going to look back and be like, hey, that was an A draft. That was a draft that nobody thought was going to be good, but it was an A draft and we had no clue. Or they're going to look back and be like, Bill Belichick really screwed that up. I mean, really screwed. It was an F draft. I really don't think there's a middle of the road on this. I think this blows up in the Patriots' face, or I think that this ends up being a hit, and Cole Strange ends up being an all-pro who that nobody expected to be an all-pro. Tyquan Thornton ends up being really good. So this is one of those drafts, like I said, at this moment, I'm going to give you my grade, but this is one of those drafts where you got to wait. You got to see how this goes out for you to even have any slight bit of a clue. Every other team in the league, I could tell you, oh, this is what they got. This was their draft grade. This is the ceiling and the floor of the draft class. But this class, I think it's home run or strike out. It really is. This is going to be an A+ draft class, or it's going to be an F. I don't think that there's that middle of the road for this one. So with that being said, my best pick, I'm going to take the 2nd rounder, Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver out of Baylor. Once again, just a speedster. Go watch his combine run. He ran an unofficial 4.21, but ended up being a 4.28. He's just a dog. He's a fast wide receiver. They can use him in the return game. They can use him in the slot. You can use him outside as a deep threat. I mean, really, he's just a plug and play guy on the offense. So really excited to see what Bill Belichick comes up with creatively for Tyquan Thornton. Now, as for their draft, I have seen everything online about how this draft was a C or below. I really don't think I've seen, unless it was some, New England sports,
Homer
company or something like that, right? Then they probably were like, oh man, Billy's figured it out. It's an A. Other than stuff like that, fan base biased writings, I've really just seen C and below. And I gotta say, I'm gonna hang in the middle on this one because, like I said, I don't know about this draft. I am just so confused as to what to give them. So, like I said, I'm just gonna hang it a C, and it's either gonna go up or it's gonna go down. It's gonna drastically go up or it's gonna drastically go down. It's not gonna be a C-, C+, maybe B- or D+. It is a F or it is an A. So I'm going to go right in the middle, and I'm going to call a C.
I'm going to waffle around and be boom or bust, but I'm just going to give you an average score. But anyway, speaking of average, our man Alpha Rob says that Bill Belichick is the most overrated coach in the NFL. He has done nothing without Brady in a weak AFC. What do you think about that?
He said the AFC's weak?
Well,
he's got the Bills in his division.
The AFC East.
He's got the Bills in his divisions, and the Dolphins are nobody to sneeze at here. The Dolphins were 10-6 2 years ago and missed the playoffs at 10-6.
Right.
And last year, the second half of the season they were 7-0 once Tua came back.
Right.
I don't think this. I mean, obviously they have the Jets, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they played the Jets twice. Hold your breath. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that by any means. But no, I don't. I think they've got arguably what could be the best team in the NFL. The Bills. I think the Bills have a shot at being the best team in the NFL in their division. They've got a underrated defense with an underrated offense in Miami, and the Patriots always play bad in Miami. So right. He had to fight through that.
Very true.
I don't think you could call Bill Belichick overrated. I don't think that's an accurate statement.
Yeah. Speaking of overrated, many people do think that the Miami Dolphins offseason moves have been overrated, aka Buck, but they did pick up Tyreek Hill with a plethora of other players, and they got a new head coach as well. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the draft. Wyatt, how did the Miami Dolphins do in the draft?
See, this one's a tough one to grade too, because this you can't really grade this on the picks. You grade this on what they spent the picks on. So as for now, I got to give them a solid B+ to start off here. Just looking at their players, they drafted. If we're just looking at players they drafted, they got a B in my eyes. And I think that goes with Tyndall, excuse me, out of Georgia. And at 102, that's a nice pickup on a stacked Georgia defense. Really, anybody on that defense could start in the NFL. They were just, it was like what the LSU Tigers were with Joe Burrow on offense. The Georgia defense was that this year. Anybody on that defense could be an NFL starter. So after that, they got the wide receiver out of Texas Tech, Eric. I cannot say his last name. Izu Kanamna, something like that. And still a great wide receiver prospect, somebody who can, be a great deep threat for you. And they got him in round 4. I'm really liking who they're pairing up with Jalen Waddle here. Also, Cameron Good, outside linebacker out of California. Cameron Good was a nice addition. And then your guy, Skylar Thompson, quarterback out of K-State. What do you guys? What's the call for K-State? What is it? Is there like a battle call or something?
Email, baby, email.
Email, yeah. There you go. Email. How did I know it was gonna be something like email?
What, you don't like email?
Really email? No, I love it. It's great. Email?
Every man a Wildcat, baby. Come on.
Let's go. That's awesome.
And then you do like a little C with like the Power Cat thing, and they go rawr, rawr, rawr.
So yeah, they got Skylar Thompson, who's going to be a good backup for them, and I think he has a shot at maybe if every single chip fell correctly, maybe getting the starting job there, but I doubt it. I think that's obviously Tua's job going forward, unless if something crazy happened. But yeah, I think he could be a good backup, somebody who'd be an incredible clipboard holder for them. And yeah, I just think that this draft is really just about Tyreek Hill. I think that's really what this all boils down to. They gave up a first and a second round pick for him, but they got the second best, if not first best, wide receiver in the league. They got a guy who can be a return specialist for you. He can literally he can go anywhere in the offense. You could literally put him at running back if you needed. You could put him at slot wide receiver. You could put him out on the outside at the X and Z receivers. I mean, you could probably put him up at tight end, and he could run around somebody and then get open. I don't know about him blocking, but I mean, you can literally put him anywhere. I mean, I'm surprised that he doesn't play safety some downs because of how fast he is. So, yeah, that's really what this all boils down to. I am so excited for Tua Tagovailoa. I think we're really going to get to see this year coming up what he's all about. We're going to see him with Waddle, who had a stellar and spectacular rookie year. And then on top of that, they added Tyreek Hill. And so they've already got Mike Gesicki there at tight end. They've got Gaskin at running back, as well as Raheem Mostert's there now. I mean, that's a stacked running back room too. They've got a nice offensive line and an incredibly underrated defense. This Miami defense is a top 10, arguably could be top 5 defense in the league. So it's a good team all around. So with their draft, even though they only had 4 picks in the entire thing, I'm going to count Tyreek Hill into this. I'm going to give him an A- for the whole thing, for the whole ordeal, the whole weekend. What all they got out, what they got out of their picks was an A-.
Yeah. So let me tell you something about Skylar Thompson. This guy is a freaking Iron Man. He got hurt so much at K-State. Went through 2 head coaches, 3 offensive coordinators, went from a strictly running quarterback to a top passer in the Big 12. I mean, this guy is a dog. And if there's anybody like Tom Brady out there, Skylar Thompson is your guy. If Skylar Thompson gets a chance to start in Miami, let's say Tua happens to get hurt, like I don't wish injury on anybody.
There's a decent possibility of that.
But if Skylar Thompson is in there, he's not giving that job back. This is a Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady thing all over again. Now, am I saying that he will be the greatest quarterback ever? No. But he is going to be a very, very solid quarterback. If he gets the opportunity to get that job, he will not give it back. He is that good. So, I mean, obviously it's a little bias happening there. He is my boy from K-State, and I have to roll with our alums, right? But, I mean, he is a good guy. So, speaking of quarterbacks, the Jets drafted Zach Trash Wilson last year, and didn't really pan out, as Tori would say. But they did have a draft this year. Wyatt, did they do better this year in the draft?
First off, I don't mean to change the subject real quick, but I had to say this real quick. You got to hear this. This is crazy. I just got an update on my phone. Bitcoin is down 5% in the last 10 hours, a total of $31,000, almost 32 now. In the last 10 hours, it's sunk 5%, $32,000. But anyways,
okay, no,
back to the point here.
Hang on. You let it ride for 2-3 more hours, and you buy $100 worth.
There you go. That's what I'm gonna do. That's actually what we probably should do. We should do that, Buck. We should just go in on this.
Yeah. Well, what you don't know is I have a lot of Bitcoin, so I sell and buy it all the time. So.
Do you really?
Yeah, I actually just sold $1,000 worth. So.
Really?
Yeah. Right before it started to go down.
Dang, there you go. Got rid of it. But anyways,
Bitcoin and Dogecoin.
New York football Jets here. So, first off, I said this the other day whenever we did the NFC East draft grades. Both New York teams hit it out of the park with this. I could not have been more impressed. And it was like with every pick, I thought like, oh, this has got to be the pick. This is the pick where they're the Jets. They screwed up. Here we go. Let's see it. Oh, wow. They didn't screw. Okay. So with the fourth pick, I'm like, look, you got to take Sauce Gardner right here. He allowed a 0.0 passer rating throughout his senior year, this last year of college football for him. And he allowed like a total, he had no touchdowns on him his entire college career. I mean, this could literally be the next Revis Island. Sauce Island is what they could call this guy.
That's stupid.
So, right. So I'm like, with this fourth pick, you got to go Sauce, especially since Stingley's off the board. You really don't have anybody else here that, with your needs that you need to go with. So they go with Sauce Gardner. And I'm like, wow, all right, they're the Jets. They did a good pick. All right, let's see. They got the 10th pick. They'll screw that one up, though. Just wait. So we get through, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We get to 10, and I'm like, all right, this is the part. This is the part where they fumble the bag and all hell breaks loose, and it's just bad. Here it is. Oh wow, they got Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. They got their wide receiver for the future that they needed. Okay, so then you wait, and they had traded around and stuff like that, and then they got to the 26th pick, and we're like, oh okay, here we go. The Jets move. It's right here. This is where, and then. Wow, they got Jermaine Johnson, so who could be the most underrated defensive end in this draft class, a guy who actually could be a Rookie of the Year candidate as well, who nobody is expecting. So they got Jermaine Johnson. Bang, that's another great first-round pick for them. So here we go. We're headed into day 2. I'm like, they got an early second-round pick. They'll screw that up. They have to. Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State, filled the running back hole that they needed since Michael Carter had some injury issues last year, and that was pretty much the only back that they have. So I'm like, wow, Breece Hall, best running back in this draft class possibly, and there he goes, to the Jets. The Jets are really filling the holes they need. So we get to the 3rd round, and I'm like, here we go. This is it, right? No, Jeremy Rucker, tight end out of Ohio State. Not only did they pair him with Garrett Wilson, who they worked so well together at Ohio State as a receiving pair with Chris Olave, that really Olave and Wilson would have been the best duo they could have got here. But a second best duo, obviously, since they weren't looking for 2 wide receivers, would be Ruckert and Wilson. And they got Ruckert. And Ruckert is an underrated tight end, and he is a guy who I think really could stick around in the league for a very long time. Ruckert is a guy who can block incredibly well for you. He's a good red zone target, a good vertical threat. He catches the ball incredibly well, and he really just does it all for you. So he's just a utility blocking and receiving tight end for this team. And like I said, they hit it out of the park there. And then moving down, Max Mitchell and Michael Clemens, offensive tackle out of Louisiana and defensive end out of Texas A&M. 2 guys who I thought were going to be a second, 3rd round guy, a day 2 guy, and they fell to the 4th. So what did the Jets do? They picked guys who were great and shouldn't be there anymore. And I was incredibly impressed with the whole draft, and I was so not confused. It was so hard for me to make the decision of what their best pick was. I had already figured out the draft grade from the start, and that was an A plus, somewhere in there. So I'll give them AA plus, and their best pick It was tough. It was tough because you got Sauce Gardner, who could be one of the best prospects in the draft. Garrett Wilson, who could be one of the best prospects in the draft. Jermaine Johnson was really interesting to me because he fell. He should not have been there at that time, and he was. So for them taking him at the spot that they got him, I'll take Jermaine Johnson at the 26th pick in the first round. That was their best draft pick. As for value and draft pick spent, that's their guy. That was a great pick.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe the tides are starting to turn in New York in general. So hopefully they can bring some relevance to the New York Jets organization. But speaking of relevance, the Buffalo Bills, why have been relevant now for the last couple years. They arguably have one of the best teams in the NFL. They signed their receiver for some long-term deal. They got a long-term quarterback. Their defense is stellar. They pretty much didn't have to do much in the draft, but add depth to positions. But how did they do in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought they did pretty solid. Then, like I said, this is a team where they're already a contender, and this is where you make or break your team. That first-round guy is so important. The second-round guy is so important, and the third-round guy even is so important. Your day one and day two have got to be spotless for you to continue to have a good franchise. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. For you to continue having a good franchise, you got to get those right. And Elam out of Florida, cornerback, that was a big need they needed was the cornerback position because Tre'Davious White, while he's great and he's one of the top corners in the league, he's coming off of an injury, and Levi Wallace took off from their team, so they lost a nice cornerback in Levi. So you got to add somebody back there, and Elam out of Florida, that was a great pickup for them in the first round. So moving on here to the second round, this was the pick that I was like, wow. I mean, this was just a great pick. That's James Cook, running backs or brother of Minnesota Vikings running back Dalvin Cook. James Cook is like Dalvin, but with a receiving backside rather than the elusive backside. But he's a guy that, once again, you can just throw him anywhere in the offense. If you need him to play slot wide receiver, he can play with slot wide receiver. If you need him to go out and make catches, I mean, go watch his college tape. They're literally jump balls. He goes up in the air one-on-one versus a corner and catches a ball. And he's a running back. He's got this incredible route where he starts into the shotgun formation to the right or the left of the quarterback, and he takes off to the right and just cuts back infield. And every time he sells that out cue, like he's going to the sideline, like he's going to be open into the flats. And every time he sells it so well to where the middle linebacker or the outside linebacker that's covering him bites and they go for it. And as soon as he sees they attach and they're going, he just plants the foot and he cuts back inside, and the whole middle of the field is wide open. And he runs that. That is my favorite route, watching him do that. Just look up James Cook highlights, and it's on there like 10 times. It's his best route, and he does it so incredibly. He sells it so well that this guy is just awesome. And people were not talking about him enough headed into this draft. And he's got the background too. I mean, his brother is a top 3 running back in the league, and I could see this guy becoming a top 10. I really could. I think he's a great running back, and he's got so much potential. He runs the ball downhill extremely well. He's got some nice speed. He can break tackles. He's elusive. But also the thing that his brother kind of struggles with at times is the receiving backside, and he's got that. I mean, he's got the receive. He is basically like a wide receiver converted to a running back, almost like what Laviska Shenault at Colorado was. So he is just awesome to watch play football. After that, they got Bernard out of Baylor. Solid pick. Nice linebacker depth filler. That defense is always important to them, so they're always filling it. Shakir, wide receiver out of Boise State. Another really good pick. I thought he was a day 2 guy, and I thought he was a mid day 2 guy. I thought he was a into the second round, early third round guy, but he fell, and wide receiver out of Boise State, Khalil Shakir, they're able to snag him at round 5, pick 148. So I thought they did really good there. Now moving down the list, there was a lot of special teamers in this draft, and Matt Araiza was one of those, punter out of San Diego State. And once again, the worst time to need something is whenever you don't have it. And if you can claim a guy out of the draft in the 6th round, or if in the 4th round or after, and he's going to be with your franchise for 10, 15 years, then I say you snag him. And this is another guy who could be with the Buffalo Bills or in the league for the next 15 years. I really think he's just an incredible punter. So really excited to see what he does with his career. Also, Benford, cornerback out of Villanova, still just kind of padding that cornerback depth that they needed to fill, just adding more guys. And Benford is a nice addition there in the 6th round. Tenuta, offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech, Luke Tenuta, just filling the depth there at the offensive line position, something that they needed to do as well. And then Balin Spector, linebacker out of Clemson with the 7th round pick. Solid guy, played for a big school. He knows a lot of the NFL schemes and stuff, so he'll be a solid guy who can come in and be a sub linebacker for you whenever you need him. But overall, my draft grade for the Buffalo Bills, I'm going to give them a B. I'm going to give them a B. I was going to give them a B plus, I was going to give them a B minus. I'm going to give them a B because I think they did really good with that 2nd round pick. And so with that being said, my best pick is the 2nd round pick, James Cook, running back out of Georgia.
Alrighty, so our man Alpha Rob is in the chat. He is a Buffalo Bills fan, and he said the Buffalo Bills nailed this draft. They got exactly what they needed, running back and cornerbacks. So, they definitely did well in in the draft. So we do have a poll going over here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/manhour, of who had the best AFC East draft, and right now it is tied with the Buffalo Bills and Jets. Do you think the Jets had the better draft out of those two? So with that being said, who wins the AFC East this season?
Yeah, I do think that the Jets had the best pick, or had the best draft overall, but I don't think that the Buffalo Bills had anything to sneeze at. I think they were just behind them. I think the Bills had a great draft. But with that being said, who wins the AFC East this upcoming year? I think it's Buffalo. I think the Patriots will probably win 9, 10, if they get lucky, maybe 11 games. But this division's getting better, and I think that the Patriots are starting to realize, we don't have Tom Brady anymore. We don't really have our quarterback situation completely nailed down. We got a young guy who's still trying to figure it out. So I think that the Patriots, while they'll probably win 9, 10, maybe 11 games, I don't think that they'll win enough to beat Buffalo. And I think that the Miami Dolphins probably win 9, 10, 11, depending on how well this team meshes, maybe even 12 games. Ooh. But I think Buffalo is a 13, 14 win team. I think Buffalo is probably a AFC 1 seed, 2 seed. I think that there might be 1 or 2 other teams in the entire NFL that have a better record than them, if that. And I think they have a shot to have the best record in the NFL. So this division is really starting to get tough. It's so crazy because this was always the weakest division in football. The Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins were so trash for so long, but that's also because the Patriots just absolutely annihilated them every year, and we didn't really get to see anything other than that. So
true.
The only time that those 3 teams ever got any kind of news, or not news, but anytime they got any TV time, they were getting pummeled by the Patriots. So, it's kind of like, it's always hard to watch, like the butt fumble, I've got so many childhood memories of these 3 AFC East teams just being terrible. So, yeah, I think that the tides have definitely switched. I think that there's the Buffalo Bills win this division. I'd say Dolphins probably second in division. It's tough, though. I don't know how they're going to mesh. And then I'd say Pats. I think 3 teams make the playoffs in this division, though. Oh. I think the Jets are the only ones that don't. And I think the Jets are on their way to, though. I think the Jets in the next 3 years, 2 years probably, will make the playoffs. Because they've got the picks stacking up here. They've got the team stacking up. They're building something really cool. And they've got the coach, they've got the quarterback, and they've got the GM to move forward with this. Robert Saleh, when they brought him in last year, a lot of people really just didn't give enough, look into how big that coach signing was. But I really think it was very influential for this team. And I think they've got a lot of cool stuff coming ahead of them.
Yeah, so some of the trendy things here in the NFL is or like our picks in general, is to pick from worst to first. Like the teams that finished last in their division, we're going to pick them first to win this year's division just because it is sexy. And the more I think about it, Wyatt, and the more I like that green color, like the way it sparkles in the helmet, and how they did in the draft, and last year's draft, they did well as well. The Jets aren't going to get first place in this division whatsoever. Like, there is no chance whatsoever. Miami, I think they are going to be a 500 team at best. And honestly, it is Buffalo's Bills division to lose right now because the Patriots are going to be a 9-win 10 team, and the Buffalo Bills are going to be that 11, 12, 13 mark again. And, the only way that doesn't happen is if Josh Allen decides to, get popped with steroids or something, because he is a ripped beast right now. So maybe he's juicing. Like, I don't know, maybe. But like Josh Allen's leg could literally fall off, get blown off by a grenade, and he's still a top 10 quarterback in the in the league. Like
probably
he is damn good. It just like I don't know why people were sleeping on this guy just because he used the N-word back in like 8th grade or whatever.
Time too,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it just
was nuts. I literally and we all talked about it before he blew up. What was it? Last or 2 Augusts ago, whenever we first started getting together on Man Hour, we were all talking about how people were not giving Josh Allen the credit that he deserved.
Yeah.
And even whenever they had this, even when they were a 7-9 team, his rookie year, people just overlooked it. It was like, this Bills team was a 3-4, maybe 5-win team on a good year every single year.
Yeah.
Some years they get a little frisky and win 6 or 7, but that was whenever they had Tyrod Taylor. And it's just like they had the one year where they made the playoffs with him or whatever, but it was just like this team really struggled for the longest time. And then this guy comes in, a guy out of Wyoming, and he wins him 7 games in his first year, and he didn't have Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
He didn't have the wide receiver weapons he had. He didn't have the defense that he has now. He didn't have the coaching, or I think Sean McDermott might have been there at the time, but he didn't have what he has now there. That's for sure. And then he's just taking it and run with it. Josh Allen, I think, could be arguably, if he continues at the pace he's going and he maybe wins the Super Bowl this year or next year, he might be the best quarterback in the league. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying he could be on the way to that. He's at least top 3 right now.
I'm saying he is the best quarterback in the league right now. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan right now, I would take Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes, over Tom Brady, over Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
I would take Josh Allen right now over anybody, just because of his. So there are certain people, Wyatt, that can walk with swagger, and we gravitate toward that person, right? Josh Allen is that person. He could be the most cockiest, arrogant person in the world, but we're all like, oh, that guy's awesome, yada yada yada. But let's say Patrick Mahomes does the same thing, right? Everybody's going to hate him and disenfranchise him. It's just they don't like that. Josh Allen is the man, and there's no turning the tide whatsoever. Unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills do have the best team in the AFC right now on paper, but they will never win a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, it is cursed in New York for whatever reason here. They are going to make it 4 straight AFC chip games, and they're going to lose all 4, just like they lost to all 4 Super Bowls in a row back in the 90s. The AFC is just too stacked. Kansas City Chiefs are just too damn good. Hell, the Cincinnati Bengals are just too damn good. I mean, unfortunately,
there's so many contenders in the AFC.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I hate it for the Bills, honestly, because it's they're such a good team, and they've built this team from scratch too. I mean, this is a ground up team. Really, the only piece that they have that they've traded for was Stephon Diggs, and that's because Stephon wanted out of Minnesota. So I mean, this is a ground up team. And it's just it's tough. It's tough to see them. I know, obviously, for you, it wasn't tough to see them lose last year, but for just for NFL teams, it was tough to see them lose. And I like the Chiefs. I don't mind the Chiefs. I really like Patrick Mahomes. I've always loved Patrick Mahomes. But it was just it's so tough to watch him lose because it's just heartbreaking. It's oh my God, you got this guy in Josh Allen who's putting his heart and soul on the line every single time he takes a snap, and it's just every year they fall and I'm not even talking the Packers just short of the NFC Championship where, we get blown out every year by either the some bird. It was either the Seahawks, it was the Falcons, or somebody else, or even the 49ers too. It would blow us out in the NFC Championship game. We had all of 2 of those were actually competitive. But it's not even like that. They're losing in overtime. It's a tight game. Josh Allen had 20 seconds or something to
12
go.
seconds. I
12
actually got the 12-second T-shirt.
It's like, oh my gosh, you know, like how did they continue to respond to these things? You know, it's just like, when are we going to give the Buffalo Bills a break? You know, I mean, their team already lost in 4 Super Bowls in the 90s with Jim Kelly, who was an incredible quarterback as well, and they had an incredible roster all around. But it's just like, oh my gosh, they can never get over that hump. Can you imagine if they go to 4 more with Josh Allen and just can't win it? I mean,
yeah, that would.
They've gotta win it at some point. They have to.
Yeah.
It's just like they've been due for so long. They're just due. They cannot keep losing.
Yeah. So people in the chat are saying that the defense lost them that game. Yada. Or just putting it out there. Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs won that game. I mean, maybe the Chiefs are just that good. I mean, I don't know.
It's two good but not great defenses and two of the greatest assembled offenses I think that we've possibly, seen.
Yeah. So I mean,
2 top 25 offenses ever, and 2 mediocre defenses. So it's just going to be fireworks back and forth.
Yeah. So guys, we are up against the time here. So tomorrow, Wyatt, we are going to jump over to the NFC side and we're going to head south. We're going to break the NFC South. We got the Saints, the Bucks, the Panthers, and who else is in there? Who else is in the NFC South? I can't think right now.
Panthers, Buccaneers, Panthers, Saints, and Falcons.
Falcons, yeah. Falcons got a quarterback. We'll see how Wyatt grades their draft tomorrow, guys. But if you guys are enjoying the show whatsoever, hit that like button, hit the share button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button over here at youtube.com/manhour. We're giving you a little taste of the morning show here on the evening show. So, guys, if you are enjoying this, tune in next week at 7 a.m. We'll be back here live for 2 hours. But we'll see you tomorrow, Wyatt, 8 p.m. East Coast time right here. Rivers got a T-ball game tomorrow, so we might start a couple minutes late. But hopefully my man leaves his pants on and hits the ball. It'll be fantastic. Wyatt, any closing thoughts before we head out?
Just don't catch one of these with your head. That's all.
Yeah, we put a basketball goal up in the backyard, and Cindy had
I got one last thing. Go ahead.
Cindy had the first shot. First shot was nothing but net. River was standing right under it. Looked at it. Boom! Basketball right in the forehead.
So, get this. I was at the emergency room or whatever, getting my head checked out, and I'm sitting there forever, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this sucks. So I'm sitting there, and they got these extra large gloves. So I made a glove face.
Wilson.
But then we come home, and the Kentucky Derby's on, and we're all sitting around, and my friends are like, "What should we name it?" And Rich Strike won the Derby. So what else do we name it other than Rich Strike? You know? And so now, Rich Strike is just gonna sit right here on my desk. And look at me while I do the show all creepily like he does. So.
Nikki needs to put a string on it and is going to randomly bite you mid-show. Just all right, guys, that's it. Wyatt, send us out, big guy.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.